Hi, I'm Sandra Paulsen. I'm a psychologist who's been working for a quarter century with complex trauma, and I want to make a brief video about the use of therapy animals in the work. I have here to my left, your right, I suppose, Miss Abby, an 8-pound poodle. She's about 8 years old. Coco, come here. Coco, come here. Come here, girl. And I have another one. And they look the same, but they're as different as they can be. And Coco's doing her yoga. And while we're waiting for her to join us, I'll say a few words about it. I have found working with animals to be indispensable in the work with complex trauma, and I'll tell you why. There are a lot of people who have been mightily betrayed by human beings, and this is Coco. Hi, darling. And she likes to face me, but I'll turn her around for a second so you can see her. This is Miss Coco. Their faces are actually different. So, see, she likes to sit like a baby against its mother's chest, and Abby likes to sit outward. I found them indispensable for several reasons. One is that people with complex trauma histories have been betrayed mightily by human beings. The very people who they should have been able to trust were often malignant or neglectful. And so it's not so easy for them to trust a therapist. They might be very frightened going into a therapist's office. But when you're greeted at the door by these two, it's reassuring to most, unless this one's barking like a maniac, which is her way of saying hi. God forbid you should wear a hat on your head or glasses, because then she thinks you're wearing antlers and you're in trouble. An interloper, or as she likes to call it, an anteloper. See, I'm out in the forest and there are deer out here with antlers. Anyway, so that's one of the problems, is if they want to bark. And for people that love dogs, it's recognized as a greeting. But if it's somebody who doesn't love dogs, they may not be comfortable with that. But for most people, they feel greeted, and the dogs are delighted to see them and happy to give them kisses if they want kisses. By the way, you know how to make a poodle stop kissing you if you want them to stop? You just go, you blow in their face. They hate it, and they'll stop. Sorry, sweetie. So they're good for grounding in the work and doing trauma work. It very commonly happens that somebody achieves liftoff temporarily and they become dissociated, or however you think about that. Disconnected, disembodied, dazed, trancy, zoned out. Those are all words used to describe it. Well, you can't possibly stay dissociated with one of these dogs on your lap. They're very, very grounding. And so that's the number one thing that I do for grounding. I also have a lot of natural substances in my office, and the client bathroom is all wood and stone. The sink is made of stone. The mirror has logs around it. And I'm out in the forest, so the environment's very grounding. But these guys are the number one grounding professionals. Additionally, this one in particular has a talent for identifying when somebody needs love, and we'll be in the middle of working on attachment repair, and she'll pick that moment to walk over and place herself right above the client's heart. Just like that. She has a way of knowing. Her timing is impeccable. This one couldn't care less. This one is more there for me most of the time. She's happy to just sit in my armpit. And the other one, Coco, goes over to the client. And believe me, when you're processing horrific trauma all day, every day like I do, you need all the help you can get. So I'm happy to have this one with me. And then when Coco's having a bad hair day and doesn't want to work, which she has every right to refuse, she goes to her cage on her own volition, and what do you know? Abby will take over and go over to the client, and there's usually one of them's willing to work. They both worked with me from the first day I had them. They both had, Coco actually knew quite a few commands. I had to teach Abby most of hers. Coco was a rescue dog. She was out on the streets of San Bernardino for 1 to 3 months before she was rescued. So I'm sure there's complex stories there that contribute to how they are with people. But so those are some of the benefits of working with a therapy dog. I also have horses. I wonder how hard it would be to show you. Probably pretty glary out there, but out through that window is a pasture with 4 horses. Usually there's 3. None of them right now are mine. These are guest horses. But it often happens when I work intensively, which is an all-day session, and people come in for 3 all-day sessions. I don't have conventional therapy sessions. During their lunch or breaks, people will go out to the horses with a carrot. There's signs out there that say horses bite, because you don't want to look like a carrot. You don't want to stick your finger out, because they'll bite first and ask questions later. Actually, these horses have never bit anybody, but it's a consideration. And they get indignant when there's when there's traffic outside. That's what the barking. That's another problem with having dogs in the therapy session is if a deer goes by or a coyote, God forbid, you have lots of barking, or an owl. So, but horses are beneficial because unlike a dog, a horse is a prey animal. You can tell prey animals have eyes on the side of their head. Predators have the eyes on the front of their head. And so complex trauma survivors often identify with prey animals. Even a calm horse is more skittish than say a golden lab, a yellow lab or something. Horses are prey animals. They're ready to run in a heartbeat. And guess who lives that way day to day? Complex trauma survivors. So horses can be a magnificent way to ground as well, and people connect with them. So that's my 2 cents worth about therapy animals. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.